Question, the honourable member for Calgary-Currie.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Well, you can see why the energy industry has lost so much confidence in this government, Mr. Speaker. I mean, two of the most senior ministers apparently can't agree on whether royalty changes are going to happen or not. Yesterday, the Minister of Energy apparently told reporters that royalty changes were not going to take place, a mere 2 hours after the Finance Minister told the same reporters the exact opposite. So, to the Minister of Energy, here's your chance to clear things up. Will this government be fixing the royalty system in this province or not?
The Honourable Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to so-called clear things up because certain media have taken out of context what I believe was said yesterday. I can't comment on what the Finance Minister said in a private meeting, but let me be very clear about what is happening. We are in the process of going through a competitiveness review. Part of that competitiveness review is to ensure that our royalty structures within the royalty framework are appropriate, and there is no new royalty framework because that is much greater than just royalties. And that's what will be coming as part of the competitive review.
The honourable member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm still wondering to the same minister how those working in and investing in the energy sector, and I know, I mean, media does sometimes take remarks out of context. It's happened to me. But how are workers in the oil and gas industry, how are investors in the oil and gas industry, let alone other sectors of our economy, meant to trust a government that's working or being reported to work at cross purposes with itself?
The Honourable Minister.
I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, that one thing that is certain, there's a lot more trust in this government than the Liberal opposition, who in the last election, the former leader was campaigning on higher royalties, Mr. Speaker. And just a couple of weeks ago, we had this particular leader, this particular opposition, come out with the report, which is the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers report, verbatim, as now their new Liberal policy. So I have some difficulty understanding where they're coming from, Mr. Speaker.
Member.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Cap called. They're wondering why you haven't. To the Minister of Energy, why aren't you more aggressively pursuing a pipeline to the West Coast? Because it's not only royalties where this government needs to take urgent action. Our reliance on one single market south of the border places our energy exports at risk of boycott. So why aren't you more aggressively pursuing a pipeline to the West Coast?
The Honourable.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'll be very happy to send a copy of our energy strategy over to the member because it's clearly outlined in our energy strategy, the initiatives that we are taking, because we recognize that we do not want to be so reliant on one particular customer, but there's a lot of work going on there, Mr. Speaker.